Hi, folks. So, I was visiting a friend of mine in the country. Her name's Marlene. I don't think she will watch my videos since she doesn't have internet and she doesn't, well, even have a computer or know how to work one. Although I did mention to her that the next time I come to her, I will put my recordings onto a USB in an MP3 format so she can listen to it on her CD player. That's as advanced as she is. So I might forget that I've mentioned her name in this one, and she might be listening to this one day in her house where she lives on a farm. And yeah. So, but I'm not saying anything negative or derogatory or something like that. In fact, I was visiting her about 2 weeks ago, and I had about a week ago, and I had a very lovely time. And I was speaking about like how I don't smoke, Mary Jane anymore, and how sometimes I do miss it and I think about it. And I feel one of the reasons that I've also stopped smoking is because for different reasons, I suppose, but one of them being, I think the city that I live in, hey, I just don't think it's conducive for me for smoking. Now, I've got other people that I know and friends in my life that do smoke and they live in the city and they're perfectly fine with it. But for myself, I don't know, sometimes maybe I'm just oversensitive or maybe I'm not. I'm just feeling that for myself, it's like I don't feel comfortable smoking in the city that I live in. For one, I don't know, maybe I'm a bit neurotic, but it is a very dangerous city, okay? You can't walk the streets at night, that's for sure, okay? And if you are driving, you're looking over your shoulder, you're having to watch cars that are not following you, so you're not a potential hijack, potentially hijacked or something like that. It's a hectic environment that I live in, and I think that sort of seeped into my subconscious in a way. I mean, I definitely do feel it. Like when I do leave the city and when I spend time in the country and the farm where it's pretty darn safe, I feel like I can just sort of let my guard down, I can let my guard down. And so for myself to smoke in the city, I just feel, I just really get overwhelmed. I don't know why. I mean, again, maybe the energy is probably just not, suitable for me. Again, I've just become, I don't know if it's more sensitive or more aware of just different energies in general, whether it's people, whether it's environments. The other day I needed to go into the butcher to buy a friend of mine some meat. Now, I don't eat meat, I'm a vegetarian. I'm not against people who eat meat. I know there's a whole lot of politics going on with that whatever it is. But so I went into the butcher and I was there for about 5 minutes, and just the energy of the whole place for me was oh my word, it was really, really unsettling, and it was a huge, large butcher, and so they have all the animals in the back room there, hung up, skinned and whatever it is, but all hung up by hooks and things like that. And I don't know. And the butcher himself was this huge, massive guy, severely overweight, tattoos on the back of his neck, and he looks at me and he made me buy more than I actually wanted to buy, but he was very forceful, and the truth is I just wanted to get out of there. I said, look, I just want, give me 2 kgs or give me for the value of 50 rand, and he was like, well, let me just make it 60 rand because we have a special, and if you have 60 rand you save 10%. So I said, okay, fine, just give it to me, let me get the hell out of here. And so maybe it's energies, as well. So I'm sensitive to it. People, environments, places. I think to be in a butcher shop, wow, to work in a butcher shop, man, it's just really, I don't know. Maybe the people that work there become, desensitized, or maybe they don't even feel it at all. Some people work in mortuaries, and I don't know. Maybe they just get used to it. But butcheries themselves, I just find are very eerie. I'd hate to be sort of locked in a butchery late at night, on my own at 12 p.m., 12 a.m. in the morning type of thing, with a little flashlight. It's just the place just freaks me out. It's just such there's tongues there, there's cow tongues, there's cow livers, there's just really, stomachs and, chicken stomachs, and I don't know, I find it really grotesque in my own opinion, but I'm not against people that eat meat or chicken and whatever it is. Again, it's like people do what they want to do. I don't know if it's right or wrong, it's just not my battle to fight. I know for some people that's their battle, that's what they've been called to, they're passionate about, and whatever it is. It's going way off the topic. Just environment. So I don't smoke, because I think if I smoked in a butchery I would just freak out. If I smoked Mary Jane in a butchery, I would just freak out. I would just be like, I got to get out. Not only that, the fluorescent lighting, the bloody music for the radio that's playing, some sort of Andreana Grande, whatever it is, about how she likes to rub up against her girlfriend's leg or something like that. I'm just like, not for me, not for me. And so if I smoked in, and so for myself, the city, especially the city that I live in, again, oh my word, I just feel like, again, too overwhelmed. So I was sitting with Molly, and she said, don't be afraid of it now. I mean, because I have become a bit neurotic about smoking. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, like I've said, but again, I don't know. So she said, have a few drags. And so you know what I did? I had a few drags, and we went for a lovely walk. And it wasn't top quality Mary Jane. But if I tell you, I was connecting to different frequencies, if you want to put it, different dimensions, different downloads were happening for me. Okay, and I just felt strongly the message. Okay, look, we were out in the country, beautiful mountainous area, over a very sort of quiet dam. It was beautiful. The sheep were in the background. It was tranquil, no cars, no cell phones, no nothing. It was just really raw and beautiful, and I was just, it was overwhelming for me, again, because I'm coming from the city, the four-walled, the boxes and things like that, now to this really lush, open, beautiful space, okay, where you can just feel the ancientness of it. I mean, it's so well, nature has just got a way of preserving her energy in a way that doesn't become, again, change. I mean, in a way, you that feeling, you always turn to nature and you're going to get the same kind of, energy. You're going to get the same sort of just reception, in a way, the invitation of nature. It's just the same. I think wherever you go in the world, whichever mountains you happen to visit, whatever rivers you happen to, paddle down in, whatever it may be, whatever sand dunes, wherever you may go, you can feel that the consistency of nature wherever you go. And that's not the same with cities and different countries and places where there's different cultures of people, there's different races of people, whatever it is. There's different religions. It's not the same. Which is not a bad thing. It just is what it is. Okay? And so for myself, I'm out in nature, and I'm just getting this sort of, again, this remembrance almost where I did used to smoke, and I would feel it more so. It's just, and it sounds so corny, hey? And I said to Molly, and I have to say it, but it sounds so corny and so like la or so just fairy tales and something or other. But the message for myself was that I am and you are a child of the universe. Okay? Now I know it sounds like a child and children, it's like, well, I'm an adult, I'm not a child, or something like that. It sounds a bit maybe derogatory, a child of the universe and whatever it is. But it was in really such a beautiful way that I felt it. It was almost like I was recalling again that I'm part of, especially being around nature again, that I'm part of this tribe, okay, that I'm part of a family, okay. And let me tell you, my own physical life, in a way, I don't really feel so much like I have a strong family and I'm part of a family. I don't feel that way, and I haven't felt that way, I don't know, for a very long time. Maybe even since I was born. I haven't felt that, I haven't felt it, I don't know what it is, but I feel that with the universe. I felt it. Now being back in the city, it kind of comes and goes and it's not as strong. But I just felt the infinite, the infinity of things, I don't know, the ever continuousness of things, the magnitude of things, again, and just that I'm still a part of something that you can never not be a part of, okay? And the message for myself was as well, which I'm really watering it down now. I mean, trying to fit it into like a 15-minute video, bloody well speaking into a microphone. I mean, I've misplaced my camera, that's a long story, so I have to do audio. But like, I realized, I said to Molly how important it is to still remember the love, right, that we are involved in, okay, beyond the surface of things, that which is ancient, that which is consistent, that which hasn't changed. Like I'm saying, the world has changed, and modernity has changed us, and technology has changed us, and people have changed. We've become this weird, I don't know, species in a sense. I don't really recognize human beings so much anymore to a certain way, or the mindset, or whatever it is. But what I'm saying is that nature itself, or the infinity, or the cosmicness of things, or the cosmos, whatever it is, the universe has a consistency to it. Okay, it's got a sacredness to it that cannot be touched. Okay, and cannot be converted into HD, or captured on a cell with a selfie or something, or seen under a microscope or something or other. It's too large for us to pin down. The magnitude and size of it is just not, we can't even put it into words. This is the thing, we can't even put it into words. It's just so large. And so what I'm saying is that, again, when I'm in the city for myself, I become so Aaron. I become so identified with Aaron and Aaron's role, and I become so identified with the material. I'm saying in the city that I live in the walls, and the security, and whatever, like I mentioned before, the safety of the the unsafety of my environment, and whatever it is, and all the game playing in 2018, baby, and everything else that's going on, and being just a lot of, not necessarily ego, but just a lot of identification, and a lot of sort of the lack of the mystery. Okay, lack of, and especially when I spend time with my family, I really feel like I regress. I regress further away from the mystery and the magic than I do with most other environments, okay, or people. I find, I don't know, I regress. I go back into the old role-playing molds and whatever it is, my character in a way, and I can feel when I leave, I feel a bit nauseous when I leave the company. Now, these are not, I'm not blaming my family members. I'm saying they're not, bad people at all. I'm just saying for myself and where I come from and what they represent and things like that. I mean, I feel for myself, if I had to go to, let's say, a high school reunion or whatever it is, and see the guy who was head boy and the prefects and whatever it was, and who was the most popular and the best looking woman, and who won, queen of the dawn, whatever, the matric, is it called matric, the final year of school, type of thing, and well, it's called matric, I don't know what it is there. Anyway, the high school prom, who won high school prom and whatever it was. And I feel if I spend some time with all those people, whatever it is, I would go massively back and subconsciously back into Aaron role. And even where I was, I was very bad student. I didn't do well at school. I wasn't very intelligent, and we go back, we regress, we go back into playing these roles, And so it's like, what it's almost like, folks? It's like, in a way, when you're listening to this talk now, or let's say you're listening to something, you're in a meditation, you smoke some Mary Jane, you're listening to some music, you're taking a bath, you're out in nature, you're connected with the transcendental, or whatever you want to call it. You're connected with, in a way, the feeling and sensation with the Most High, if you want to call it, or something like that, the sacredness, the ancientness, okay? You're encompassed in it, and you're embraced by it, I really feel as well, okay? And that's like, and then when you return, let's say for myself, back to the city, or you return to sort of your 3D state, or your normal average Monday morning routine patterned, your relationships, your beliefs, your fears, your identity, and all those kind of things. And when you go back into it, well, what I'm saying is that it feels like this. It feels like I remember at school, especially when I was a youngster, maybe in my 10 years old, and we have break time. And it was so much fun. I mean, playing with my friends, running up the jungle gyms, playing with cards, all these card games that we would play, whether it was like, sort of, in America, I'm sure it would be baseball fans. For us, it was football fans or basketball fans, cards, people, those sort of collecting cards. And we used to play games and marbles and play dice, and it was so much fun. And it was so adventurous, and we were swinging from the trees if there was, and it was just so much fun. And then the school bell would ring, and back to class. And there you were, sitting in your desk, listening to, something about geography, or the most boring, something about history, but from the most so boring and so logical and so limiting and just so deadening, so mediocre, so bland, so, I don't know, like removed from anything magical and mysterious. I mean, although the mystery and the magic is still there in a way, but like having to focus on, let's say, Mrs. I can't even think of one of my teachers' names at the moment. Thank goodness. I mean, the less I can recall about school in a way, the better. I loathe school and the whole experience of it. And not only that, but you're sitting in a chair and it's just your life is going, eating away at you. The fun is not being had. It's so serious. You conditioned into something that's so bloody serious, and and it's really terrible, and something that is like really all about life. This is like the purpose of life, so you can pass your exams and whatever it is. And it's just, how the drill, folks. And so what I'm saying is that's the kind of experience sometimes, is that we have these transcendental, beautiful moments and these massive downloads. Like, I'm saying the download that I have when I was walking with Marlene, just about being a child of the universe, don't forget the love that that you encompassed in, that you're surrounded by, but you cannot see and you cannot really always have access to, because again, the school bell rings, the break bell rings, and you're back into class. You're back into the politics of things. You're back into the dryness of sort of the Matrix Truman Show world, with all its bloody problems and all its contradictions and all its, just sometimes unsavoriness in a way. Okay, if you had it, I have it in a bath. I run a bath. I light some incense, put some essential oils, play some music. I'm so far out in that bath. I do some breathing exercises, meditation. I'm so far out. And then as soon as I get out the bath and whatever it is, and I go to a room and somebody's watching TV and I hear a bloody advert, and I'm like, boom, all gone, just all that sacred space, all that whatever it is, so quickly. I mean, I try and hold on to it, but it just kind of disappears. It just kind of disappears. And anyway, that's what I'm finding, and I'm sure, folks, for you as well, sometimes you also find that. Like, you go for a hike, you go for a trip into nature, and you return back to the city. And it's like, it's so darn difficult, it's so very hard, or I don't know, it's just something that I think it is the way that it is, And I even know, like when I was speaking to Marlene, when I was visiting her, she lives on her own, on the farm. And for me, when I'm there, she's on holiday, she's on vacation, she talks, we speak, we have a cup of coffee. She's not on her own. I mean, 99% of the time she spends on her own. She's a bit of a hermit and a recluse. And when I'm there, it's like a holiday for her, it's vacation, it's heaven for her. We just sit and we chat for hours, and we really it's so lovely for her. But then when I leave, it's again back to the grindstone. Even though she doesn't really work, but I'm saying it's back to her loneliness and being on her own, and then her own mind chatter coming in and just giving her a hard time, and just like myself as well. I really find, in which I like to think of well of myself, is that when I'm with people, it's for them and myself as well, can be, if we are having a deep conversation, it's very transcendental. It's very transcendental. And it's very sort of just feel good. It just feels nice. It feels warm. It feels fun. It feels adventurous, And when I kind of need to go my way and I leave them and they leave me, then the adventure sort of fades away. Again, the school bell rings or the alarm clock wakes you up, and it's like, okay, back to the grindstone, back to the familiar, back to the sort of game playing, back to the Truman Show, back to your school desk or whatever it is, back to playing your role in society or whatever it is. And I don't know, it's just sometimes it's a hard struggle sometimes, folks. So let me not go much further than that, but again, just we really need to find those moments which are so transcendental and remind us of the bigger picture, okay, and to have the faith that we are part of something that is really divine, really sacred, and we're not forgotten about, that we really are on some kind of journey and really are on some kind of meaningful adventure, and it all counts. It all absolutely counts. It's not for naught, absolutely not. And our struggles and our pain and our suffering and our joys and our moments of ecstasy are not in vain. Nothing is in vain. I really don't think so. I really don't feel that way. I really don't think that way. And so again, folks, it's just reconnecting with the divine journey that we are on, you know, and salvaging those moments when you can of the transcendental, of when, I don't know, synchronicity just touches you, or the sun sets on you, or rises on you, or you're blessed to see the stars in all its glory without any light pollution, you know, whatever it is, embracing somebody, you know, a friend, a lover, when you connect, when you look into the eyes of another, and you just, without even speaking, can feel and know where each other is at, what's going on. Without words, you can just travel into each other's worlds, you know. Beautiful experience. So to salvage those moments and to look for them and to seek for them and to fight for them as well, you know, connecting with, you know, the Most High, if you will. Alright, folks, we'll leave it at that for now. Hope I've made a bit of sense. We'll chat soon. Take care.